Hey guys, it's Dave with Skullcraft Customs. Today I'm working on the last steps of the King Air 200, basically upholstery, and a couple little touch-ups to get the plane ready to ship. So right now what I'm doing is I have these pieces of wood, and what will happen is this is the upholstery I'm using, but the thick piece, I'm still debating if I'm going to do thick on the bottom, but basically this will glue on here, and then that gets anchored in here. Now you can see that with the foam in, it's actually really thick, so it's not like that big of a deal, but the thin pieces will go in here. So let me explain to you. So the padded gets attached to this. The upholstery goes over the pad and that. And then on the back side of that will be Velcro. The Velcro will have the ability to stick to that carpet, which keeps it from sliding around. I may or may not use this really thick stuff right now. If you look at it, it's actually these cushions that you can buy for when you're working on cars or kneeling down and stuff, and then I cut them up. You can use a jigsaw, works really well. But let's show you what I've done today. So today we mapped out the ailerons and that kind of stuff. Here's my little man cruising around because he's cool. No step because it's not meant to be stepped on, and I know someone will do it, and hopefully the parents will discourage that. The airplane's assembled as you see. Got my lettering on. On this one for giggles. Put my website up underneath there. Obviously it's like a limited edition, so I signed it. But definitely a good looking plane. I'm really happy with this one. What's really difficult though is when you're working with that's this small, even on the pallet, you bump, scratch, crash into just trying to navigate through here. So for me, the hard part is once it's this close to being ready to ship, it's really important to get it gone, because if you don't, you bump into it, you move things around, you scratch it. Once it's all assembled, those kind of problems don't happen. But when you're trying to squeeze through a garage like this, it can kind of suck. So the key is get this thing going right away. Okay, so another thing I'm working on is I have these makeshift vacuum formers that I'm creating. And these wing tips, the way they work, the real plane actually has these little fin things, is screws will come from the back side of this into this, and there is actually, you can't see it, but deep inside there is threaded receiving ends. So what happens is this piece will end up going like this. Okay, so it's kind of like that. Now you'll see I've mapped out this leading edge right here. So what I got to do is today I will, this is how bad my shop looks like when I'm in the middle of something. I'm going to make up the bulk of this shape right here with 2x4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to make the shape I'm looking for, and then I will round it. This will then become the buck that sits on top of the vacuum former, and when it pulls the clear plastic down when it's heated over this shape that I'm going to make, this will end up having a complete plexiglass lens. In theory, that's the goal at least. So anyway, the hard part in Central Oregon is some of the stuff you can't get except for Amazon. And you're hoping that it shows up in time for your day off when you're working on these things, and it rarely ever does. So that's what's going on today. I can barely work on anything because I have to wait for Amazon. And it'll probably show up after dark, being my luck. Oh, and then the no step stickers will end up sitting in here like that on this little piece. And maybe, I don't know, that's definitely a weak spot. Any kid stepping on that, they'll be riding their face into the asphalt. So there you go, guys. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you guys' support, and kind of can't wait to take a break for this. Need to start that before summer's over. All right, peace out.